Hello bike enthusiasts, this is my attempt at making a little bit of a video vlog of my KTM Enduro R 690 2019 model. I bought this bike about a month ago, pretty much stock, although stock for this bike is filled with a heap of goodies. And was looking at a couple of adventure bikes, you know, Tenere 700, sort of didn't really dismiss the 790, was starting to get a bit too full-on road bike as well. I've come off a Ducati Multistrada Enduro 1200, so you know that thing is absolutely full to the brim of technology, but it's a big beastie, and for dirt roads it's a handful. So I wanted something lighter. Just been getting into dirt bikes the last couple of years, and decided that I'd try for something a bit different. A lighter weight, dirt capable adventure bike that I could sort of make more friendly for the road and go the other way versus taking a road bike and making it more dirt friendly. Anyway, did a lot of investigating and decided on this thing because it was basically packed full of technology which I like, and KTM are the only ones that have really applied it to this format. The bike was stock, as I mentioned, bought it about a month or so ago, second hand, very lucky to pick one up, and consequently bought a heap of crap and bolted it to the bike, and this is what I've got. So what I've done very quickly, I did another video, it might be posted already, but I upgraded the seat, or I did a bit of a home ghetto job on the seat. Basically ripped the old cover and the foam off, made my own foam base. Really my whole intention was to make it taller, wider, cushier and flatter, to move around a bit more, make it more comfy for long roads. It's a bit ghetto style in looking, it's a bit rough, but you know what, for less than $100 versus a Seat Concepts for about 700 in Australia for the version I wanted, you know what, I couldn't go too far wrong. And it's super comfy. I was a bit worried that the cover was a little slippery to start with, but actually it's bedded in nicely. It's awesome. I've got a big bike trip. Yeah, look, I know, don't flame me, it's not perfect, but I got a big bike trip. I'll get that out of the way first, and then I may tidy it up, get a professional to tidy up and recover it. We'll see how we go, but for now, bloody awesome. Really happy with what I've got out of that. So other mods that you might have noticed already, I've changed the foot pegs. I got size 14 boots, they're bloody enormous, and yeah, needed bigger foot pegs. These are, you know, eBay jobs. They're about $150. So far they've been very good. I also wanted fuel range. Okay, 13.5 litre tank in the rear, not bad, 250 k's, but really in Australia we need a lot more than that, as you know. So I got one of the Rade Garage tanks, which goes underneath the seat, replaces the stock airbox with a smaller airbox. So I'll quickly give you a look at that. You've probably seen these in other videos, but basically, yep, it sits under there. I've just fueled her up to see what she's like with full of fuel as I do today's ride. So 5.5 litres plus 13.5 gives you about 19 all up. I just filled this up. I've done a tank full for both tanks, got to about 360 k's before the reserve light came on. I filled her up, put in, I think there was still 2 and a bit litres when I got to 375 where I filled up. There was still 2 and a bit litres in the rear tank. The front tank was empty. Drains from the front down into the fuel pump at the back, and typically drains from the top first. Well, you'll empty that before you empty the rear, so you know, everything still works as normal, and yeah, really happy with that. So 370 k's, a lot of highway, you know, at 100 plus kilometers an hour, plus a mix of dirt and that as well. So pretty typical for adventure style riding. So I think it'll be pretty good for, you know, safely 400 k's, and carry some extra fuel if you need more than that. But that'll do most adventures. And you can see that replaces the standard air box with a little air filter. Pretty easy to fit. All this stuff I did myself. There's good videos better than me around there. Put a little filter sock on the little filter just to keep maintenance a little bit more simple. And so again, that's all pretty new. Haven't really run it enough to give a good description. Oh, one thing I will mention, in the actual video for installing this, these brackets, plastic brackets which support the seat, you don't actually put them in. I decided to cut them and trim them so that they still fit in into the tank and still provide some support for the seat. Otherwise the seat rests on the tank, which I'm 110 kilos fully suited. That's probably more stress than I'd like on a bit of plastic that I'm sitting on with fuel. So I decided to trim them and put them back in, and so far that's been a really good result. Lots of support for the seat, doesn't feel like it's flexing or anything like that. So that might be something you'd be prepared to do, but you know, you've got to sacrifice the original parts a little bit. Not that I think you'd want to pull it out at a later date. Other things I've done very quickly: bark busters, pretty obligatory. I put a Perun Moto rack on the back, bolts in, really simple, neat, super quality. I'm really happy with that. Great service from those guys as well, out of Europe. You'll see at the front as well, the screen and cockpit. I wanted more room for my GPS and all that sort of stuff. Wanted to upgrade the lights a little bit, needed some wind protection. I'm 6'5" or 195 centimeters, like a big bloody windsock. So yeah, it definitely gives you more wind protection, particularly off the chest, which is good. Kind of got to lean forward to get under the bubble of the screen. The screen's adjustable. Just loosen the clips and slide it up, and then tighten them again. I do that on the fly. I can just slide forward on the seat, reach around, do it. It's a piece of cake, as long as you're paying attention. And then you can just lean forward, get under the bubble a little bit. The air will go over your helmet. Shorter guys won't have that issue. And then yeah, once you get sort of into the trails or anything under 100 kilometers an hour, you really don't need it. There's plenty of wind protection from the screen in the stock, just in the lower position. And I just went with the sports screen, which is the smaller screen. Didn't want a big screen flapping around at speed. And so far it's been really neat. Nothing moves, it's all good. I went with the stock lights. I didn't do the upgrade. The lights are plenty. They're great LED lights, much better over stock. Just for looks, I went for the blacked out around the mirror. I think it looks pretty good. It integrates pretty nicely with the color scheme of the bike and almost looks stock, you know. So now it looks like a big bike without being that big a bike, well, for me. That's pretty much it. Bigger foot piece to stop the bike in soft sand tipping over. I have bought some racks for some throw over luggage, which I haven't got on for now, but I've got that for a trip. You can see on the dash, it comes pre-drilled for a couple of these things, but you've got to drill to put your dash in place. I put some extra USB. It comes stock with a USB, which is pretty good for for adventure bike, dirt bike. So that's pretty cool. But I put some extra USBs in with a voltmeter at the top here, and also a cigarette style charger for if you want to run a compressor or something like that. Got a quad lock for my phone. That phone's just a cheapie, but it is weatherproof, dustproof, splashproof, that I run my apps on. And then I've got my other phone in here, which I just pair with that for GPS or anything like that you need connectivity. But most of the time everything runs offline. Stuck some bendy mirrors on there, which are a bit better than the stock ones in terms of just flexibility. And that's about it. Went through a fair bit there, but yeah, quite a bit done so far, but I'm done now. I think it's pretty much everything you need. and really today you can see just a beautiful little spot here. Going to head up the hill from Moondine to Bindoon, where there's a great pie and coffee. About 50-60 k's of dirt bumpy road, and I'll try and film a bit of that and just see how she goes. I mean, I've got a little bit of experience on the dirt, not a lot, but you know, absolutely love it. And with a bike like this, just makes it so less fatiguing. The suspension's really good. Oh, the other thing, sorry, I put a Rally Moto steering damper on it. Such a light bike, skinny bike, big front wheel. Once you get over 100 kilometers an hour, the steering gets a little wobbly, especially behind traffic on the freeway and so on, or at speed on dirt gets a little loose. Steering damper, beautiful, sorted. Crank her up, it's a very good one. There are cheaper versions, that's well made, Australian company, good quality. It just makes it feel more stable, like a bigger bike without being a bigger heavy bike. It gets rid of all that wobble, doesn't really affect your steering. You know, you don't really notice it, you get the benefit without really the problem with the issue. Here in the tighter stuff, there's a couple of sections where it's a bit tighter. We'll see whether that makes an impact, but you can just back it off. Just need to twist it down and back it off. It's pretty easy if you want to. I've ridden this when it was dead stock, in some, you know, single trail and stuff like that. Man, it just killed it. It was so good. So it'll be interesting to see. Now I've bolted all the crap to it, whether it's still that usable or whether it's, you know, taken some of the edge in the dirt out of it. Anyway, enough jibber jabber. Let's get on. From there.